What a performance. Game ended about 30 seconds ago. That is a backs against the wall, season is on the line performance if I've ever seen one. I mean, unbelievable performance from the Saints. The offense, this is the best game we've seen. I mean, it's obvious. 38 points on the road. You look at some of the stats here, yards per play, 7.7. That is a ton. That is so much better than what we've been doing. Red zone, 3 for 4. Again, so much better than what we've been doing. Penalties are a bit of a problem, but who cares? Turnovers were even. Time of possession, we eked by at the end there. 511 total yards. Third down, we were 50%. I mean, we won the. If you look at the box score, like we've talked about before, sometimes you get like fake finals and fugazi finals. This one was not. I mean, you look at this, dominated the yards per play. Again, let's see, the first downs, are they on here? First downs, one time of possession, a deserved win on the road. And this is a team too where you do have to factor in the human element, right? You have to factor in what these players are going through. They have been hearing it from everyone, the media, local and national, fans, Kenner police. They've been hearing it from everyone possible. And everyone, even inside of the locker room, it sounded like they were having some beef or some problem between the players and all that. And, you know, for this team to basically save the season in this kind of fashion, very impressive. Very impressive. It was a dominating performance. It was kind of a weird game because I would say the Saints dominated the game, but it was kind of close at times. Like at the beginning of the game, we were losing, even though I felt like we were in control. My betting group, we were talking about live betting the Saints at times because we could just kind of see the game script. But then all of a sudden at the end of the game, we have the ball and it's third down and it's a one possession game. And if we don't convert, all of a sudden the game is in the balance. I thought Carr was good. I think this was Carr's best game. Not a lot of competition in his best game universe, but he's 19 for 27, 310 yards, 2 touchdowns, no picks, average 11.5. Obviously, that average is high because of Rashid Shaheed. Rashid Shaheed goes 3 receptions, 153, and a touchdown. I had someone in my comment section, and everyone knows we've got one of the smartest, highest level comment section there is in YouTube, but they were mentioning how Carr really started to click in Vegas/Oakland whenever they got him speedy receivers. And I guess that's something Carr likes or something Carr looks for, which makes sense with all the go routes he likes. But I don't think it's a coincidence that Carr's best games are also Rashid Shaheed's best games. When he's pushing the ball, and he can push the ball, and he's not afraid to push the ball in like third and short, third and manageable, he'll let it go. And someone like Shaheed is really, really taking advantage of that. Kamara's targets, wildly low. If you look at, compared to the rest of the season. That also, I don't think is a coincidence. This, to me, is Carr hearing the noise. Carr hearing, he's a check down merchant, Captain Check Down, all this stuff. The JT O'Sullivan video is probably playing on loop and Derek Carr's house. And this is a really balanced look for the offense to look at, the targets. Rashid has 3, all deep balls pretty much. Thomas has 7, Kamara has 5, Olave has 9. That's kind of what you want. What we've seen before in these situations, is, targets would be like Rashid 0, Thomas 5, Kamara 26, Olave 6. That's pretty much how the share was. But this is much more spread out, much more playmaker driven with Thomas, Olave, and Kamara kind of there. And then the deep shots to Shaheed. So beautifully done from Carr. As far as rushing, Taysom Hill was really good. This is another Taysom Hill stat where when he has these kind of games, it's hard for the Saints to lose. When he's got, he's impacting the passing game, he's our best runner, he's got 2 touchdowns, he's everywhere. When he's doing that, the Saints offense is really good. Defensively, there was a lot to be desired, I think, defensively. I mean, they kind of ran all over the place. We did give up a lot in the first half, but we made the adjustments, and we've seen that before from the Saints, where they've made an adjustment at halftime, and the defense plays really good in the second half. So that's what I don't put too much into it as far as giving up 27 total because of how well they played in the second half. It was a great win. There aren't really any negatives you can say coming out of this win, I don't think. I mean, if you look at the whole thing, this is the best game, the best win, the best performance from the Saints. This is closer to who the Saints are. Offensively, I think this is who the Saints are. Offensively, this is about it. A nice, balanced attack passing as far as spreading it out. Again, you've got your Olave and Thomas as your main receivers, and then Shaheed kind of taking the top off the defense. That's what you want passing the game. And then Kamara there too, to alleviate some of that as well. Let him be a playmaker. We saw on his touchdown reception, what a play. And then Carr, not forcing things, doing what he has to do, being efficient, but also having the threat to kind of push the ball downfield. That's Derek Carr. That's what we want from the Saints. If you were really looking for a negative, I guess you could talk about Olave's drop. But receivers drop balls. It is what it is. Olave's had a horrific October. I mean, he's had one of the worst Octobers I can remember in a long time. It happens, right? It's going to test him as a professional to see if he can bounce back from this, to see if he can kind of get through this, get past it, and then start to put in the performances that we know he can do. The whole police thing and the body cam footage and the drop and the arguments with Carr, there's just a lot on Olave right now. I feel bad for him. I think the police situation was super overblown with the body cam footage and all that. It probably didn't need to be released. You hate to see that. So as a fan base, I think you got to pick him up. You got to pick up the guy. I believe in him. I think Olave is really good. I don't think he's a scapegoat for this season or anything like that. So I think he'll turn the corner. I feel good for him. The important thing as far as the locker room, though, sports are a quick turnaround. So it's what have you done for me lately kind of business, So if the Saints, this is a huge performance. If we come next week into the Dome against Chicago and we have another huge performance, all of a sudden we're 5-4. We're probably in the driver's seat for the division. Kind of the playoff hope, like the hopes of the playoffs are back on. The schedule is easy enough to where now you start thinking like, okay, 10, 11 wins is still in play. And all of a sudden, then that's a very different season, right? If you're looking at 11 wins, 10 wins, division title, playoff, that's not too far off from the high hopes we had at the beginning of the year. So the fact that the Saints can have the trials and tribulations they've had in 8 games, and they have had some trials and tribulations. The fact that they've had that, and yet they've found some success, if they can build on that success, that first 8 games will go away. If they do this kind of performance, like I said, against Chicago, and we keep moving forward, and you hate to say it, but Minnesota today they suffered a huge loss with Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins had an injury. I'm not a doctor, but it looked like it could be an Achilles. All of a sudden, the Minnesota game now is favorable, whereas that was one of the games where we probably were going to lose. So the schedule, as easy as it was, it's actually now kind of softer. It's gotten even easier. So the Saints are in a good position here. There's a lot to be positive about. If you're a Saints fan, there's a lot to be positive coming out of the game. If you're hyper focused on this game, these 4 quarters, there's a ton to be positive about. If you're focused on the long term, if you're focused on the season and the division, the playoffs, the win total, whatever, hugely positive. I mean, I don't want to say we're back, but we're close. We are a good performance against the Bears away from us talking about, damn, this team might not be too far from what we thought they were going to be before the season. I think where we pull back a little bit is the idea that Carr, I made the ceiling at one time was Carr could be an MVP level candidate. Like he could be because he's been that before. So if he elevated his play, it's not crazy to think he could be a top 10-ish, 8-ish quarterback in the league. I don't think that's possible anymore. I don't think that's the player he is. But now if the ceiling is above average, somewhere in there, an above average quarterback, that's really all we need. That's really all we need is an above average quarterback, because if this was the offensive production we would have had the rest of the games, we're 6-2, something like that. We don't lose to Houston. We don't lose to Green Bay if we're getting this offensive production. Jacksonville, whatever it is, what it is. Tampa, it is. We got beat that game as well. So this team could be 6-2 easily. They could be 7-1, 6-2 if this offensive production would have been there for the entire season. This is one of those games where, right before the games, I'm always thinking about the videos and the channels and all that stuff, and I'm thinking, what's it going to look like? What is the video going to look like? Is it going to be me upset and we're talking about the apocalypse and the season's over and fire this person and fire that person? Is it going to be a little bit of column A, a little bit of column B? Or is it going to be this, where we can all breathe a deep sigh of relief? We can all say, whew, okay, we can put the paper bags away. We don't have to worry about the ain'ts. We don't have to worry about firing this person and firing that person. We don't have to worry about protesting in front of the Superdome and, chaining ourselves to the statues and holding a protest. We don't have to do any of that stuff. We can just kind of relax, enjoy ourselves, be happy, hoot at whenever you see someone wearing some Saints gear, hoot at for the next week, and then we're moving on. So we're moving on to another favorable game where we will be a home favorite against the Bears. So this was great performance. Really happy to see it. Just, you got to tip your cap. We criticize the Saints a lot. We criticize Allen and Carmichael and company, and they deserve it. They certainly deserve a lot of it. This, by no means am I going to be, dressing up as Pete Carmichael for Halloween. That's not going to happen. Don't worry about that. I still think he should be gone after this season. I still think him and Allen can't do it, but for another week at least, it's okay. We're not losing sleep over it. So let me know in the comments below what you thought. We'll be covering this game a lot. We'll be doing more reaction and stuff, but I want to get this immediate reaction out to you guys. Very happy with the performance. The best version of this Saints team we've seen. Best version we've seen. Pelican win last night against the Knicks. Easy, dominant performance from the Pelicans. Dominant performance from the Saints. I mean, this is a new feeling. This is a new feeling this season, as just overall, just boom, everything was good, everything was happy. Here we go. It's 3:35 when I'm about to publish this. Get you a Bloody Mary, get you a mimosa, get you a screwdriver, go down to Cat's Meow, sing a song. 3 for 1 happy hour probably going on. This is the time to be in the city. So congratulations. Let me know in the comments below what you think. Are we back? Are you hesitating? Are you fully in? Are you believe in Derek Carr? Do you think this turns the season around? Or is this kind of like New England, where we have a blip, but you're still concerned? Talk to me. I'll be down there reading your comments. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate that. I will see you in the next video.